What is the core problem you're trying to solve?
We started off with this hypothesis that, again, there is a lot that can be done in healthcare with AI. And we started actually interviewing a lot of physicians. We ended up interviewing over 150 physicians who are all practicing and in the US. And what resonated the most is that prior authorization is a massive pain. For us, it's the time and effort saved if you were taking 30 minutes or 45 minutes to do a single prior authorization. If our agents filled it out for you and made it all easy, and you just had to verify it, and it took you 30 seconds. So we're saving you potentially, if you're doing 3 to 4 prior auths per day, we're saving you like 2 hours. That's how we're quantifying our success. What you should look for in this company is that we're working on cutting edge technology and we're working on things that are important. So, these are the two things that I think will drive anyone to choose Sinewave.
Welcome to another fantastic episode of Pitch Cafe podcast, where talent meets coffee. But what kind of talent? Stellar talent that is shaping the forefront of agentic AI in healthcare. Agentic AI has become the buzzword, and every aspect of technology and lifestyle we know is going to be impacted by it. But healthcare is one of those fields which we cannot do without. We have with us today a woman in STEM star from the IIT startups and the IIT Bay Area community. I had on my podcast before, but back then she was working in a startup and she aspired dreams of becoming a founder. Lo and behold, in her very next podcast, she's co-founded a healthcare startup in the agentic AI technology space, and she has partnered with a very accomplished IITian Vidyut Parekh. He's a veteran in Silicon Valley, comes with lots of expertise in the technology domain and lots of good business connections. So, and Divya herself is from Google, a PhD from top university, and now she's building this agentic AI startup. Divya Chitimalla, welcome to Pitch Cafe podcast.
Thank you very much. Really glad to be on the show. I'm really excited to share what we are building. It's been a journey over the last 1 year. It's an exciting times for all of folks who are building in AI, especially in healthcare space as well.
Wonderful. Healthcare has never been ignored. It's the hot space, hotbed for investment. So let's hone in on what your company, Sinewave AI, is doing. Before that, Divya, when I saw you last, you were at a TiCon conference, and I also saw you at many Gen AI events, and you were refining your pitch. I knew you were doing something to help the back office for the doctors. So tell us the genesis of Sinewave AI. How did this startup come out to be?
Absolutely. So 1 year back, when I was working for CrystalDB, a startup, I started realizing that most of my coding work was automated. Like I was using, GPT APIs, like 80% of my coding was taken care of. Then I started digging more into it and started looking into AI agents. And as I dug more and more into it, I realized the potential of how much this intelligence, the cognitive layer that's being built, is going to shape the future. And I've attended several conferences like TiCon and other conferences in the Valley, right? So there are so many conferences that's going on in the AI. And I met Vidyut at TiCon as well last year. And we were discussing about AI agentic workflows and Llama's new release. And after having a discussion of an hour or two, we decided to dig a little bit into what this AI in the verticals would mean. And Vidyut has been working on several, like networking companies in the past, but more recently he's been looking into healthcare. And he suggested that we look deeply into especially use of private AI like Llama into healthcare. That's where the genesis of Sinewave started. We started exploring how the private AI specific to a vertical like healthcare, which is again a $1 trillion industry. There's a lot of wastage in admin work. Yeah. That's where the core of what Sinewave stands out is that we are automating the things that physicians don't want to do. Physicians are spending like 5 hours a day on doing admin work. and
Yes.
Steinway is building agents which can automate that.
Yeah, no, I can vouch for both the things. I have seen the front desk burnout because of the operations they're supposed to handle. I've seen the physicians burnout. In fact, physician burnout is so serious that they're ending their lives. It is kind of like hitting that spot because they have 36-hour shifts, and they spend more time again after that filling the paperwork. So this is a crazy amount of burnout. Tell me what is the core problem you're trying to solve? Like there are so many workflows in the back office. So what is that hero use case you're going after? And why do you think your solution is the right fit?
So the thing is, in our journey, we started off with this hypothesis that again, there is a lot that can be done in healthcare with AI, and we started actually interviewing a lot of physicians. We ended up interviewing over 150 physicians who are all practicing and in the US. And what resonated the most is that prior authorization is a massive pain. Each prior authorization takes 30 minutes per request, and each medication it's different, each payer is different. So if you look at it like a matrix, it's like it's something like super complex, right? It's
Yeah.
across medication, across payer. So that's something that resonated quite aggressively with the customer interviews. That's one thing we're going after. We're building AI agents that can automate insurance prior authorization for all the payers and for all the medications, right? That's one thing. The other thing is obviously dealing with insurance, because dealing with insurance is something that not a single physician is excited about. No one is
Yeah.
excited saying that, hey, I want to do my, I want to become an MD because I want to deal with insurance. No one said that ever, right?
Yeah.
So dealing with insurance, handling rejections, our voice agents can directly deal with insurance people. And, we are multimodal. We go from like automating the, PDF filling to writing emails, follow-ups for any claims rejections, to even handling any queries that come from the insurance side to the payer. So we are sort of this autopilot for back office for small
Wonderful.
groups.
So, if somebody were to install your product, does it work like in the background, or can we see your interface? How does your agentic AI application kick in? Is that something you can talk about?
Yeah, for sure. So we are over the course of last 6 months after our interviews, we started building out the MVP and giving it for our design partners to try it out. How the whole thing works is that the agents are taking actions autonomously on the web.
Mm.
So our agents can in the background connect to the EHR,
Yeah.
or transfer your notes using the voice AI technology that we have, transcribe the patient doctor conversation, take that content and put it into an EHR, fill out the forms, fill out the PDFs. All of that is happening asynchronously in the background using AI agents, which are taking action. So they're called web agents, which take action on the web, not just a GPT, which is just giving you text output.
Yeah, as you're describing this, a thought crossed my mind. For a long time in healthcare, the small data problem exists. Like data is so fragmented in different locations. How is your agent dealing with that problem?
Yeah, that's a great point, right? Because the data is fragmented. More than fragmented, I would say the data is not organized.
It's
It's
not
in
organized.
it's in like PDFs. It's on sometimes it's on fax, sometimes it's on notes. It's not organized like you would think for data analytics or enterprise. Enterprise is a different
Right.
ballgame, right? So
Right.
so that's why we are, definitely going into this field because of our ability to handle multiple of these unorganized data, right? Like our ability to handle PDFs, for
Yeah.
example, our ability to, go through EHRs and navigate web. That is the unique capability that we are bringing in, rather than like taking already a structured data and trying to query on top of that.
Yeah. And what's the compliance, the HIPAA compliance looking like for an application like this?
That's a major challenge for startups in healthcare, and it's massively important. That's
Yeah.
why we invested our time to get ourselves HIPAA approved. We worked with another startup called Confer AI
Oh
in the
yeah,
Bay,
I met
and
those guys. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, they're from IIT folks as well, and
Yeah.
yeah, we're very happy that they gave us this opportunity to work with them, and we got our HIPAA compliance done, and that has opened our gates to get our customers and deploy it in the clinical settings. Otherwise, it's impossible, or it's not legal to do these kind of things without HIPAA.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that HIPAA has started opening up to agentic AI web applications. I think it's a big deal that it's allowing some application to scrape data from the web because you're entering the unknown territory. It's not really, is it the open web or is it the intranet web that you're scraping, like inside the organization web?
Yeah, so we are not necessarily scraping anything. The data is, it's multi-tenant, it's per tenant. We are not using the data for, any training purpose or anything else.
Yeah.
It's only for the specific customer, specific clinic, and all the data is, secure, it's encrypted. Yeah, we are following all the rules of HIPAA to make sure that obviously the data is very sensitive. There's health information. We cannot compromise on that. We are not necessarily scraping anything. It's
Yeah.
only that we are able to act on that specific data, which is again like secure and everything.
Yeah.
And we've also signed business associate agreements with OpenAI. If you're using GPT or with other sort of yeah.
Are you using O3 or O2?
No, we are using multiple things in the background. So we do
Right.
something called as like routing. We route based on a specific request. So we use multiple LLMs to kind of switch and see what response makes sense. But yeah, it's something that we have designed to make sure that we are not dependent on a single LLM.
Looks like your product has the look and feel of multimodal AI. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. We use vision and also obviously text because we definitely need
And
vision, and we
voice.
have yeah,
Do you do
vision
voice as well?
voice. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. For the
Wonderful.
web, yeah, for the web part where we have to navigate, we are using vision and something called as SOM, set of marks, to basically do a fragmentation of the UI and understand specific things. But yeah, for the voice part, there's definitely other APIs that we're using.
What does security look like in your case, like data security and network security? Do you have to take care of that, or somebody else does that for you? Because with AI and data, it's ransomware attacks are increasing in the healthcare space. How secure is your application?
Yeah, so we are HIPAA compliant. We're fully HIPAA compliant. We use encryption at rest, encryption in transit. We are using all the firewalls, antivirus, virus scans, and all the things that HIPAA mandates. And we use GCP, Google Cloud, on the backend to use the for the storage and stuff. So for that, GCP is itself HIPAA compliant. So
Right.
it's not like we are exposing any parts of the data to be vulnerable for attacks.
Yeah. And of course, privacy is a concern. I'm sure with HIPAA compliance, you've taken care of that. Like you have a web application. What about a phone interface? Are you building a phone app?
Yeah, so we have Android, iOS apps as well. They're not released yet, but we're testing it out. Our developers are testing it out, and we are basically making sure that it's bug free before we release it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but our design partners have access to all of that.
Wonderful. Healthcare transformation was definitely up for grabs. And you probably picked the hardest and the most boring problems. You can't go wrong there. And you paired it with agentic AI and multimodal AI, the hottest trends to double click on. But that being said, how big is the market you're going after? How can you quantify the total area market? What's it like?
So healthcare itself is in trillions, right?
Correct.
If you look at admin tasks,
Yeah.
it's $1 trillion market. Healthcare admin tasks is $1 trillion market, And tools for that $1 trillion market is a $250 billion market. Again, the whole thing. In that, we're going after small clinics, so which is again like 45% of that. And if you kind of narrow it down, it's around $100 billion for smaller clinics. But then if you just pick the initial wedge market, it's over $10 billion.
Wonderful, wonderful. So you've got the market size right there, which is great. Healthcare has always been challenging in terms of go to market. How are you approaching this? I know you've got like 120 odd interviews, which is a good validation, and customers have started interacting with your pilot product. What's your go to market looking like?
Yes, go to market is something that I and Vidyut have spent quite a lot of our time scratching our heads, because it's not like, we're going after hospital chains, right? Hospital chains would have been a slightly more kind of a known territory if, because there are a lot fewer of them. Since we're going after smaller clinics, we have figured out a unique GTM, especially through our advisors. We
Yeah.
have we have well connected advisors in different specialities and who are leading specific groups, independent physician groups. So we are leveraging that for our GTM.
So that's great. And the of course, measuring the customer impact and KPIs, it's more like you get the feedback, but what exactly are the metrics you're going after? Let's say product experts want to quantify the impact of your product. Like, what are the numbers you're going after?
Yeah, so for us, it's the time and effort saved. So, for us, it's like if you were taking 30 minutes or 45 minutes to do a single prior authorization, if our agents filled it out for you and made it all easy, and you just had to verify it and it took you 30 seconds. So we're saving you potentially, if you're doing 3 to 4 prior auths per day, we're saving you like 2 hours of your
Yeah.
time. So that's
Oh,
that's
yeah.
how we're quantifying our success, that we want to eliminate that 4 to 5 hours of grunt work that they're doing
Yeah.
and open it out for seeing other patients, giving basically a better healthcare system, right? Because a frustrated doctor, a burnt out doctor means bad healthcare outcomes for patients.
And you're vertical agnostic. Any doctor can use it. Any surgeon can use it. Anybody can use it.
Yes, eventually, yes. But currently, we are going after primary care and pediatrics, mostly because primary care and pediatrics both are volume business. The doctors are really, really, busy. They see
Yeah.
like 20 patients a day versus a surgeon who would see one a day. Yeah.
No, I agree. I've seen that. During my pregnancy visits, it was nobody was there to pick up the phone. We had urgent questions because they are attending to calls and they're doing paperwork. So amazing. The most important thing, even though it's the last question, is you have to have a great team to get your startup going. Obviously, you have Vidyut with you, but who are the other members in your team, and what's your recruitment scene looking like?
Yes. So, we have been working with mostly physician advisors. A lot of them have been, putting their part time, and we have folks who are again putting in part time. Once we do a raise, we're going to hire full time employees and have more of, engineering focus kind of situation. Yeah. So regarding what you should look for in this. In this company is that we're working on cutting edge technology and we're working on things that are important. So, these are the two things that I think will drive anyone to choose Sinewave.
Yeah, it's a great name. Why did you pick that name?
I mean, I hear sine wave as a sin wave sometimes. And that's
Oh,
why I
no,
can differentiate people who learn trigonometry versus not.
not.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
definitely
if you
it's a STEM term, and it's fascinating. Why did you pick that term? I mean, the name.
yeah, it's just because I'm very fascinated with mathematics, and I've always thought that we're all waves in a sense, because if you look at AI, right? AI is nothing but statistics on steroids. Statistics is math, and math is sine wave. So, so
Coming from an AI ML expert, well, I'm not going to disagree with you. So, one thing that I wonder, there you were working with databases. Suddenly, you're all talking like a healthcare expert. The ramp up time was like lightning speed. How did you manage that? You seem almost like, look, I'm a biomedical engineer. You seem like another biomedical engineer talking to biomedical engineer. How did that happen? What was your secret to ramp up so quickly?
yeah, thanks to all the conversations we had, right? We had over 150 independent conversations with physicians, and we have 8 advisors who are all accomplished physicians, and we have these conversations with them on a very regular basis, twice a week, sort of thing. So I really put myself in their shoes, and over the last 1 year, all these conversations really helped me put myself in those shoes and really start thinking from that sense.
Wonderful. So, customer obsession has never hurt a founder. It's the trait of a good founder, especially in Silicon Valley. On that note, Divya, hate to wrap up this conversation, but I'm so glad we are all caught up on your latest venture. Last time when I did a podcast with you, I kept wondering which domain you will pick, and I saw you refining your pitch like so many times in these various events. Here you are confident with a team, with stellar partners and advisors, and doing all the right things. Any last thoughts before we wrap up? You didn't talk about how much you plan to raise. Do you want to talk about that?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, we'll be disclosing the amount soon, but we'll be doing a seed round after the IIT Startups Demo Day, which is coming up in the end of January.
January.
I do get requests from VCs in India as well as US. So we are planning to do a more structured raise in the end of Jan. And yeah, I mean, I'm excited for what's in store for us, and it's an exciting problem to work as both as a technology person and also somebody
It's a
who wants
hot,
to see.
hot
Yeah.
problem to work on, the right problem to work on. And from what I can hear, which you did not say, is you're kind of oversubscribed, isn't it? Or you're kind of getting oversubscribed. You have to pick and choose who to work with. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good problem to have. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I hope you pick your partners wisely. Wish you all the very best. Thank you so much for your valuable time. I know you're on a different time zone, but we somehow made this happen. Many best wishes to your venture in the year 2025. Thanks, Divya.
thank you very much, Vida. Wish you a successful 2025 as well, and thank you very much.
Wonderful. Wonderful.